Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. I'm with the one and only Mr. Wolf, and Wolfie, this is just a general share advice and not personal as normal. Wolfie. So I'm doing the Einsteins over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what's the hot stock, right? And I'm looking at EOS, and I'm thinking, really, I looked at all the, it's had a lot of contract wins recently. It stopped spending all that ridiculous money on laser space technology, a Star Wars system, and I thought, well, hold on a second, this is looking a superb chart recovery. And I thought I'd just check before I put this on as a hot stock if Wolf put it on as his hot stock for this week, right? And sure enough, it was your hot pick of the week. And to be honest with you, that's the first time I've really gone hot. We've both gone hot together. And
all right. That is enough. Let's just tell the real story. You went straight to my thing first. You saw it, and you go, "I'm going to steal that idea." Done.
No,
please don't give me that. Oh, I would do it first, but I just looked at his and you just say, "No, you didn't. You just pleaded from me because I did it way before you, buddy."
To be honest with you, I actually didn't. But I'll tell you what, I do normally check and have a look what you put on to make sure I don't put the same one as you. But I just couldn't stop it this week because I just thought the risk reward of this was too good, right? And I didn't want you to take all the credit for picking this. So I thought, no, he's not taking all the credit for this. So it went in the hot stock. But anyway, it started off.
I can never take credit for anything around here.
And you know what I like about it? It's actually it's down 1%. So giving people plenty of time to get into it, which is good if people want to get into it. So again, but Wolfie, I think there's a nice little part of their last presentation which I sort of I put out on the hot stock, and I think it really emphasizes very, very simply why this is starting to move. Right. It's just a one little pager, really simple, and obviously that war in Ukraine, where I think they're getting a lot of contracts from it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go through. Let's see what stories that we've got to talk about. Wolf, and there's MRM, which again, has been on Einstein's again the last few weeks. A good-looking chart and up 5% today.
Yeah, look, we've got up there, but looks, I think it's pretty positive. Where I think they're going to double from last year. Let me just remember. I think it was EBITDA. Let me just double check that, Dave. But they're talking about EBITDA for the whole year was 66 to 68 million. So really strong for them at the moment. Especially they were quite happy with normally the quiet period. There was actually quite a good period for them. So overall, I mean, if you're in this, you're probably still thinking this has got legs still. Especially when they come up an update like this.
Yeah, it looks good. You certainly wouldn't be selling it, but actually, Wolf, look at it. It's generally speaking even hold aggressive trend lines. Not even sort of. I mean, it's price action has been really incredible since it broke up. It's a classic, really a classic trending story. This one.
Yeah, 100%.
And it just real. Just why sell them if they don't break trend? I mean, if you've got that long-term view. DRE, Wolf, it is below the trend line, but we did have some questions on this last week, and we just said, nah, it's below the trend line, not for us. But it's a story that you've quite liked, and they came out with some results today. What did you make of those?
Yeah, the results are still pretty similar to what they've been coming up with. So solid. I think it's just a matter of whether the investors can get around it, really, and maybe just get some more positivity in the rare earth space. But for me, decent, but not as good as one down below you've got with rare earths.
All right, let's have a look at SVM, because they've come out today, and I've just noticed that up 13%. What's going on there?
It was just an interesting announcement from the point of view that Rio's taking a 15% stake in this, going to spend about 40 mil. And they also have got an option to get another 5. So they're going to be 20% owners of SVM, which is normally when that happens, Dave, because normally they just go and, we're going to spend some, couple of $1 million, see if they find anything. But normally when they take a big stake like this, it's much more serious for me. So, I'd be interested to see how SVM performs from here.
All right. Okay. And what do you think this is? Obviously the catalyst to they'll possibly end up taking over completely.
One day, as long as it's obviously a good, if they can drill, happy with what they're drilling. And these guys are in, I think, Malawi, Dave, looking at rutile and graphite, right? So, but by the looks of things, it's a pretty good discovery. But Africa is not an easy one, and Rio has got a pretty bad track record in Africa, I have to say, buying things off Australians.
Okay, let's have a look.
Anyway, but it's a good thing for SVM for sure.
All right, let's have a look at VYS, because they came out with an announcement today. Now they've been trending quite nicely of late, ever since really they had a nice little buy signal back here. I mean, they've gone on a tremendous run, up about 45-50%.
Yep.
Again, revised earnings guidance, very nice.
Another upgrade, right? So they've only had an upgrade in May. They've got another one in July. Looking at, I think they had, last one was between 6 to 6.5. This is not net profit before tax, right? 6.6, between 6 and 6.5. Now they've got it 6.8 to 7. So about a 7% upgrade to previous numbers, which is very decent. I mean, that's why it's been trending quite well.
Excellent. And if you're in that with an upgrade, like you said, you'd be holding it.
Absolutely. You don't sell upgrades.
All right, let's have a look at Drone Shield, Wolf, because we've had a lot of clients that absolutely love this story and that held it. It's not one that we've really embellished. We've seen it as a little bit of a sort of just a FOMO, but not FOMO. It's all a bit of a play at the moment, isn't it, on the war and whatever. So, but again, just received a record 33 million order from the US government agency. Very, very nice, and up 28% on that.
Impressive, Dave. If you can get a order from the US government, you're doing something right. Surely they're going to be testing you out left, right, and center, and making sure that you can deliver and deliver really good technology at the same time. So I think that's a real big positive plus for DRO, and maybe this is the catalyst that's can maybe push fire from here.
They've got a record 62 million. It says backlog of orders. I suppose their biggest issue is supplying them now, getting the parts and
correct, and actually making money on this. That's the other key thing, right? Is you can deliver $1 billion worth of orders, but can you actually make money on this? And this is what the key from now on is probably looking at those cash flows.
All right, okay. Let's have a look at DTC, Wolf, because hello. I mean, I could totally understand someone trending this. They have bounced above the trend line. You've got a lovely little stop at maybe 10 cents. They're trading at 13. Well, downside is minimum. Downside could be sort of 20-30%, but the upside could be 200, 100. What's happening with DTC?
Just little contract wins. Another one from Barrick, which they've already got a relationship with anyway, but it's nice to just add another little contract to the coffers. And it is a recovery. It's not a ball-tearing company, but it's not the worst either, right? So what you said is definitely true. I think you can double from here, from 13 to 20 cents like it was before. You had that spike, the previous little jump that we've seen. We can see that following through.
We never really put on a sort of a high risk punt, right? Like this. I think maybe worth a shot. You get a bit too nervous.
I am a little bit nervous, but look, I'm going to leave it to you. I mean, like I said, it's
listen, I'll tell you what. Anyone watching the video, welcome to have a look at it, right? But if you are gonna trade it, you must use that stop loss.
Yep.
Okay, and I mean you've got trend lines at 11, so I think really if it goes down to 10 cents, you have to get out of it.
I agree.
Wolfie, Lynn.
Yes.
Trending absolutely beautifully. Not doing much on that announcement.
Really strange, because look at that announcement. Just bring it up because I want to show everyone the sort of results that these guys are getting, right? And again, Africa difficult, but you can definitely make money. Look at this: 55 at 4.7, 58 at 4.5. So this is double the grades of what DRE is coming up with, right? This is why, for me, this is much higher grade, much more interesting. But Africa is probably what is probably stopping me from really loving it too much. But look, it's definitely got some spot in this. And remember that I think they also had recently raised some cash. So potentially you've got that anchor, so to speak. But look, at the end of the day, well worth following if you're going to be trading and playing with stuff like this. It's not bad. Somebody's going to look at this, surely.
Yeah. And which country in Africa are they in?
Is it in? Let me have a look.
Malawi.
Is it Malawi? Okay, this is a Malawi. Yep.
So how is Malawi then?
Look, it's not as bad some of the other stuff, if I remember correct. And I know, you've just had Rio spending almost 20% to buy part of a company in Malawi. So, it's obviously not viewed as bad as some of the other stuff out there. So, yeah, okay. But everything in Africa has got that extra bit of risk in it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely not as bad as the other two. I think a bit of cholera at the moment. So
is that all? That's okay. Oh, that's safe as houses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just seeing here now just what the tourism guide is. Do you want to read about it? It says I can't see. Yeah, listen.
Nah, don't worry about it, Dave.
Okay.
Look, you just have to go. I'm buying something, I'm trending something, and if you got it, I'm trending something in Africa. I'm just gonna, make sure that I've got really tight stops, and if it goes south, it goes south. I have to get out.
All right, EGL.
Now this was really good. I got to give it to them. Good announcement from. Looks like an upgrade from 35 to 50% now. I think again, EBITDA line. Let me just double check that. And a company that's on the up, buying little small bolt-on acquisitions. It is in I suppose, a little bit of an environmental space, right? Treating water and so on. So, for me, a decent company upgrades, and it still hasn't done much, Dave. So this one could be potentially. So if you're looking for a trade, Dave, maybe this is the one that I'd be go, this could be right.
Yeah.
Hasn't done much still. Only 7% up on a nice upgrade.
Yeah, I think you wait to see where it is at the end of the week, yeah? So get a good
EBITDA increasing by 50% year on year. Surely somebody's going to go, this got to get up to 25, 30 cents.
All right, well, let's put this one on. I mean, I like it, Wolf. I mean, it's a fundamental call. It's maybe more than a...
Well, the fundamentals talk for themselves, right? I mean, upgrades and upgrades. You've got to take your hat off.
I mean, actually, this was trading absolutely beautifully before until they did that sort of that capital raise. Do you remember?
Correct.
And it basically gave a little bit of a stinker to the price action.
It has, and this is unfortunately happens, right? You've got a company that's acquisitive. They had to go and raise some cash because they found a company they want to buy. It stopped the momentum, unfortunately, and because it's lightly traded, difficult to pick the momentum back up unless you've got another announcement or two of that sort of caliber, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I think we'll look for a 3 month trade. I think it's got a sort of. I'm actually going to go. This is quite interesting. I'm actually going to go for that 18 on the stop loss.
Woo! Okay, fair. No, makes sense because it's lightly traded. You can have one day and then it's going to go to 19.5.
Well,
right?
I'm just going historically what it's held in the past, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to go for a big target. I'm going to go for 28.
Yep.
So I think you've got a pretty nice target there. What's the market cap of this story, Wolf?
I'll beg you. I think in the hundreds. Let me double check. Hang on.
So still a micro cap.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be very small.
So we're going to call that high risk.
75 million. I mean, that is not big.
So it's a high risk, lightly traded, high risk. Your downside, could be 20% here, but your upside could be a little bit more. All right. Is it upgrade? Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is Wolfie, IGO.
Yeah.
It's just holding above trend, but down today. What's
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, I suppose the acquisition that they did with Western Areas. Western Areas shareholders must be going, thank God for that, baby. Oh, what a good buy that was on sell, because they've just written $1 billion off Western Areas acquisition. Oh my God. So I think
Sorry,
it
how
stuff it up.
but how can they do that if they no professional?
Yeah, but
reason?
because it just shows how difficult it is to predict things, right, in a mining space. So basically, I think there's two problems here. First of all, they probably got dudded a bit with what this potentially can do. They've had operational issues as well once they picked it up, right? And probably also some unforeseen circumstances that's driven all this down. So I think there's a combination of things, but they're way overpaid by the looks of things, for sure.
All right.
$1 billion, you know, right there, and you might as well just pick it up on you know, at zero. It's crazy. I just can't believe it.
All right. Now Whisper, it's up 8% today, Wolfie. Again, I wouldn't go near it. It's is that because it wasn't quite as bad as what the market thought it might be?
I think so. And look, you might argue other green shoots appearing potentially because they are getting close to that cash flow positivity, right? They're down to now about 1.5 million in cash outflows, right? So it's much better than it was, like 10 million, right? It's now to 1.5 million. So potentially they don't have to go back to the market every 6 months. They can maybe go to the market once every 12 months. So if they can, they're still sticking to the line of FY24 will be cash flow positive. So you know, you can see, like I said, you can see those green shoots appearing. So maybe with time, maybe within the next 6 months, you're going to see that over 46 cents, Dave, and that's what maybe we could have a trade. It's again, it's not the best company in the world. It's definitely a big COVID beneficiary, right? Which is obviously not there anymore. So their growth has really pretty much stopped. But you know, at the end of the day, they might pick that up again. And they were pretty coy today with the update. They didn't actually say if there's any growth at all. They're probably going to tell you that in August, which is next month, when they release their full year results. So let's see. Way too early for us, Dave. But definitely something that maybe we can have, and maybe some company will look at this as well. Because remember, we've had a lot of tech takeovers.
All right, and Whitehaven, they got a bit of cash in the bank, Wolf, 2.65 billion.
Is that all? Now you know why Queensland went bugger you, everyone. We're going to put an extra super profit tax on you, right? Makes obviously sense. I mean, why not? If you make this amount of dollars that you probably don't need because he's just really greedy, then you know why not? Why can't it go back to Queensland so we can spend it on something and waste it somewhere else? But anyway, look, if you look at a result today, still, you know, I'm negative on coal, but it's still pretty good because the actual cash flows are still pretty strong. They're getting an extra what do you call it, premium on their coal they sell. But if you look at it as a whole, right, so you've got prices coming down of coal, so they've actually, coal now is pretty much half what they were getting earlier in the year. Costs are going up, right, which is not great. So that's all, the margins are shrinking significantly, but they're still probably going to make money, right? That's the beauty about it, because it is definitely one of the best coal producers globally. I mean, they're getting a premium for the coal, which just shows you that they have got some really good coal.
Well, yeah, listen, I was in Newcastle over the weekend, and they're just queuing up those coal ships, aren't they? Still coming in.
So still, there'll still be demand for this for probably foreseeable future.
All right, Wolfie, on that note, I think EGL, we've got a little trend there. You can have a look at DTC, a lot more high risk, so obviously be a little bit more cautious on that one. Yep. Some of those trending stocks like MRM are looking very good. VYS doesn't look like it's a sell. Lind is a hold. But again, some very, very good results there. The market hasn't really reacted to it, but if you're in that, you would be holding it. Yep. And obviously coal, some of these coal companies still make a lot of money. So on that note, Wolfie, I'd like to thank you very, very much. Always brilliant, and hasta mañana.
Thanks, guys. Bye.